preach reform but bite their tongue. Promise the moon but the same old song. Toadies and lice don't float my name. We need some moat to drown the shame. Branded far out, still holding tight. They dim the truth but burn a light. Crooked grins on a fancy coat. We need some moat to rock the boat. We need some moat, a wall, a chain to keep the lies from the pouring rain. Wade in deep where the waters grow. Flush out the rock, let the river flow. A mask of change, a hollow sound. A dance of puppets spinning round. Can't stand the taste, can't vote my note. We need some moat to stand and glow. Lure them close and whisper sweet. Sink their boots, let them feel defeat. The struggle aches, the stories rope. Hammer the iron to build our moat. We need some moat, a trench, a line to show their gold ain't worth the time. Watch them down where the currents tow. Drown the old, let the new seeds grow. Blow them close and whisper sweet. Sink their boots, let them feel defeat. The struggle aches, the stories wrote. Hammer the iron to build our moat. We need some moat, a trench, a line to show that gold ain't worth the time. Watch them down where the currents tow. Drown the old, let the new seeds grow. We need some moat, a wall, a chain to keep the lies from the pouring rain. We need some moat, a wall, a chain to keep the lies from the pouring rain. Wade in deep where the waters grow. Flush out the rock, let the river flow. Let the river flow. Lure them close and whisper sweet. Sink their boots, let them feel defeat. The struggle aches, the stories wrote. Hammer the iron to build our moat.
It's Friday night and we're all in.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos. full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy. Don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy. Don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Hey, it's Friday night. It's John and Ed, and it's all in.
And that's your Robin Williams impression. Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
That's quite good.
That. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the sort of thing one could replicate, but you did try.
I'm giving a good and healthy welcome to all you beautiful people out there. It's great to see you here on a Friday night. Thank you. Namaste. I don't know what that means, but hey.
Namaste. It means I see you or something. I see something in you.
So, what's your tipple of the night? I'm back on the badger myself.
I'm on a nice Sainsbury's House Red.
Oh.
And my back hurts, so forgive the fidgeting. And I'm on painkillers and
God,
wine.
He's going to be scintillating, isn't he? He's on painkillers.
I'm going to be as scintillating as I possibly can be.
We'll ask the people in the flat across the road to fashion a unfeasibly long poking device to keep him awake.
Oh no, I won't have problems staying awake.
All right.
You'll have problems shutting me up. It's a good distraction from the bloody backache.
Good. So, welcome, Shalini, Espresso Mechanic, Julie C, Adam, Beats and Tapes, Brit Mate, Nectaridus, Yorkshire Lad, hey up. Who else we got? Johnny and John, good evening, sir. Soldier, good to see you go again. Returning. Many people returning. If you're on the vertical stream, don't be shy. Most of the chat's on the horizontal though. But yeah, you know what? Come on. Oh, Britmate, appreciated my movie review on Tuesday. Well, there's a new one out, Britmate, published today for Minecraft. You might like it. It's in the style of the Grumpy Scot. So it's not long, 6 minutes, but it gets to the point.
Do you have any other style?
Yeah. I've got Sergeant Grumpy. I'm actually not.
Yeah, but Sergeant Grumpy's just more grumpy than the Grumpy Scot.
No, I think the Grumpy Scot's grumpier than Sergeant Grumpy, to be fair. The Grumpy Scot's quite grumpy. But I don't think I'm that grumpy, really. I think I'm quite upbeat. Yazzie! Yeah, this is the right one.
I know. I'm only winding you up.
Right, okay. So let's get on with it, shall we? China! How's the sound, by the way, people? Is it all right? China! No honey for you.
Oh, dear.
You pay 120%.
I mean,
let's make it great. Make it great. We're going to make it great again. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
The thing is that once you get to 100% tariffs, it's anything above that is kind of academic. But it'll be interesting to see what sort of black market forms in the USA of people trying to get their cheap plastic shit off Temu and not being able to do it directly, so it's having to come through Mexico, and there's going to be it's like the Russian oil. The thing is that trade is just something people do, and even it doesn't matter how repressive the regime is. Even in the Soviet Union, they had a black market.
Yeah.
Back in when the Iron Curtain was up. I mean, the whole thing. I think Trump kind of gave it away a bit when he said that it was in his Truth Social post. He said in one of them that it was disrespectful of the Chinese because everybody else was phoning him up, begging him to take the sanctions off, the tariffs off, and the Chinese were like, "No, screw you, hippie. We're gonna increase the tariffs." And there's plenty of stuff that the Americans.
But he never answered the phone, did he? McDonough, I have offer for you. Why you no respond, asshole?
And I mean, some of the memes, like the Chinese, all over the Chinese social media, they're doing AI-generated memes of obese Americans assembling iPhones and stuff. The thing is that Trump doesn't. He hasn't cottoned on to the fact that this is a new world. If you look at the way that China has diversified its exports, for example, and the kind of power that they've got, and what happened with Russia in the sanctions. I mean, it's like if you're the president of peace, this is not the way to go about it.
Right. Anyway, I need to address the chat because Soldier has dropped me a little note, a little plastic note. Thank you very much, Soldier. Appreciated, mate. Thank you. Who else we got? Beats and tapes. No, I told you, mate. I can't pay you. I could promise to pay you in the future if we ever make money, but I can't pay you just now. But anyway, there you go. And Vaughn's in the chat. Good to see you, Vaughn. Thank you for coming along. Right. Now, next. The tariff thing is in my view nothing but a bargaining chip for him to try and. I still reckon he's trying to get. Pardon me. He's trying to devalue, or he's trying to get his dollars back from China. Because China's hanging on to all his dollars, plus most of the world's gold, because they bought all that as well, didn't they? Plus they've been mining it. They've been crafting away, little Minecrafters mining all that gold and not adding it to their official stockpile. So I reckon China's got most of the world's gold at the moment.
Well, China and Russia, but there's a lot of countries that have been stockpiling it. Whereas the British government, we had Gordon Brown that sold all of ours at a ridiculously low price. But let's not go down that one because that'll just piss me off.
Gordon Brown
the thing with the tariffs,
Scotsman, a one-eyed Scotsman,
when it started to impact the bond markets, and the price of the 10-year Treasury started going up.
Yeah,
that was essentially when he rescinded and he just said, right, flat tariff rate of everyone 10%. We're gonna stop with the reciprocal sanctions apart from China. With China, I don't know. It's some of the things that Trump says lead me to believe that he doesn't actually understand how the US dollar system has worked since the end of the Second World War, because he seems to think that all these people using the US dollar is they're somehow doing America a favor when
they
actually
are. They are.
Well, they are when they buy treasuries. But the thing is that
they're still doing America a favor because they need to have dollars to buy oil, right? And therefore to get
not
dollars,
so much anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Because there are countries that are trading oil not in dollars.
Times are changing, right? But at the moment, generally most oil is still done, and most of the energy is still done in dollars. So he's trying to hang on to the hegemon of the mighty dollar, because if he loses that, there's no incentive for people to do trade with with America, because they won't need dollars other than just use them as a market, and that's not going to do American trade any good. All it's going to do is going to funnel everything in.
But the problem with what he's doing now is it's just increasing the rate at which other countries say, we are so done with these assholes.
Yeah, it is.
It's like you've already got BRICS. creating alternative financial mechanisms, Russia was very successfully able to cope with the 23,000 sanctions that has been imposed on them. And the European Union now wants to impose sanctions on bloody fertilizer as well. So it's just absurd. But
are the natives rising in Brighton? What's going on?
Yes, it's Saturday. It's the Friday night wildlife. We've had some. I've got the window open because it was a bit warm. But if they don't shut up and go away soon, I'll turn it off. I'll go and close the window.
Right. So yeah, the other thing about Trump, and I don't know if you noticed this, because he said that countries that didn't respond to his tariff increases, he was putting a 90-day pause on things to give them time to settle things out. But and one of those countries that did respond was China, and that's why he's whacked them with 124% or whatever. But he never mentioned the EU. And the EU have raised their tariffs on American goods already. But he hasn't mentioned them. Why not?
No, and he's probably because they're not that important.
Well, no, they are. They're massively important because they're going to steal his trade with China. Because China's not going to stop. China's not going to stop producing goods, right? So it's going to sell them elsewhere. And look what they've already done, with their LNG and stuff, and we'll come to that later. But China's going to dump its stuff in places that it knows will still keep buying, like the UK and Europe, right? Now, and to stop the European economy being hammered, they're going to have to push back against China and either apply tariffs or put physical restraints on the amount of stuff that they can, send in. I mean, remember the EU used to put horrendous tariffs on Japanese electrical goods. Remember, things like cameras and things. The Japanese had to nerf their camcorders because
John, the EU's already. I mean, if you look at, they've already got loads of tariffs.
Yeah, I know, but they're going to need more
before Trump's.
Yeah.
Well, but the whole thing is mental, frankly.
Yeah, I don't think it's a well thought out policy. I'll give him that. He's not thought about it. I agree. At all. He's just knee jerk.
Well, I think he has thought about it, but the thing is, you have to remember that Trump has been talking about tariffs since the 1980s. I mean, his thing about tariffs is long standing, and I think that partially I think it's part of the problem that he's got is he doesn't really understand the history, because even if you look at the period of McKinley, which Trump harks back to, where America had tariffs, and McKinley himself actually talked about how reciprocal tariffs were a really bad idea. And so Trump is not even really paying attention to the history, while at the same time constantly going on about it, which is part of the issue. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's a particularly well thought through policy. And I think he realized that as well when the bond market started to tank.
And that's interesting because the bond market doesn't normally tank. Because normally that's the thing that stays stable. Long-term government bonds. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They normally stay stable.
Absolutely.
So why is that tanking? Is there complete lack of confidence in Trump's administration? Is that what's happening?
Well, that's the thing about the market for treasuries, because the reason that people buy them is because it's a safe, predictable, we can put our money there and we're going to get our interest payments and we're going to make our money and we don't have to worry about it. And as soon as you start creating instability or uncertainty, actually uncertainty is worse than instability, because if they don't know what's going to happen next, then we're talking about people's lifetime savings and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also countries like China have been gradually selling off their treasuries. But it's the same in the UK, because in the UK we have guilds, which are the same thing. And as soon as the guilt market starts to have problems, that's when the government is really in trouble.
Mhm.
I mean, it was what brought Liz Truss down, and it technically should have brought Rachel Reeves down, apart from the fact that they control the media and they control the system, and the system wants them in place, and probably no one else is stupid enough to have the job.
I think Reeves had a bigger impact than Truss did. Truss
Mhm.
absolutely hauled over
Yep.
the coals for it. Because little Rishi was in there. He had his hand in the mix, didn't he? He was working her like a sock puppet. He wanted that job.
It was more that the financial interests that Rishi represents and is a puppet for didn't like what Truss was trying to do with the direction she was trying to take things. And actually, she had some good ideas, and some of the stuff that she said back then has been proved true now.
I've got a lot of admiration
anyway,
for Liz.
but
I think she's got a couple of great assets. Anyway.
Let's move on.
And there we go. China's just halted all liquefied natural gas imports from the United States. This leaves tankers in limbo, with billions of dollars of contracts. China will now go with Australia for their natural gas. Now, how's that going to work out with Australia and their drive to net zero? You know what? Net zero is a dead duck in a trade war.
Well, I saw this great video of an Australian coal miner absolutely unleashing at some sort of public meeting, saying that we're shipping masses of tons of coal to China so that China can then have cheap electricity, use that to build wind turbines that they sell us back to us, so that we have expensive electricity that doesn't last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, the sooner net zero comes crashing down, the better off we'll all be. And this is, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because there are actually US LNG tankers bound for China that have been told to not turn up in China. So I don't know what they're going to do with that LNG.
I tell you what, don't go near Yemen.
Yeah, the crew is probably like, oh man, we got to go round the Horn of Africa again. Because I mean, that's the Cape of Good Hope it's not pleasant sea conditions.
Maybe they should just keep going and head for the west coast of America the long way.
It just shows you just how completely screwy the world is.
Talking about a screwy world, then. Ashton Forbes here has got it. He's got it. He said no country has any chance against the United States military. We have directed energy weapons and teleportation technology. Countries developing nukes are building obsolete weapons. Worse, nukes are liabilities. The moment the rocket takes off, it will be remotely detonated from space. The next real war will be fought using space and time. This guy is losing it big style. He's not even a physicist. He's a self-proclaimed.
I will agree that he's. Well, I will agree that he's drinking far too much of his own Kool-Aid. But I've heard Trump and a US general, retired, I think, both refer to the US having capabilities that, I mean, Trump essentially said the US has got weapons that people have never seen before or never dreamed of, or whatever his usual hyperbole is.
Yeah, but he's got to say that after Russia drops on the Oreshnik without a warhead on Ukraine and wipes out a whole bloody zone, then Trump's got to say that. He's got to.
Yeah. And the thing is also, if you look at those Oreshniks, for example, in order to shoot something, you have to be able to track it. And there's currently no known way to track a hypersonic glide vehicle because of the plasma. Because when they travel at that hypersonic speed through the upper atmosphere, they get this bubble of plasma around them, which is one of the problems with hypersonic tech, is you have to have metals and alloys and stuff that will resist that kind of heat. but once they've got that plasma bubble around them, there's no way to. I mean, you can potentially see them from a satellite, but you can't get a fix on it because it's moving so quickly.
Yeah.
And conventional tracking radars, I think the S-550 that the Russians have might be able to do it.
The other thing you need.
No, go on.
The other thing you need for the warhead, not the warhead so much, but the ballistic shield that you're talking about, resisting the plasma, is antimony in order to harden the alloys. And who's got all of that?
Oh, China.
China! Your drinking game tonight, people, is every time I say China, you can have a drink. Yeah.
Next slide.
Next slide coming up. Iran Observer says, Arab countries have temporarily denied the Americans permission to fly their spy planes near Iran. How can they do that? I think the only way they could say that is if they said you can't take off. Because how can they? They dictate to the Americans where they fly? I mean, the mighty dollar can go wherever it likes. Team America World Police will not be spoken to by ragheads in the sand. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Well, no, you probably shouldn't. But at the same time, the Americans are there by invitation, and I'm sure that there's rules that
facetious
govern.
And sarcastic.
Yeah, all right, doing that again, fine. Whatever.
Right. Okay, don't get all serious on the mic.
Oh, dear.
It's Friday night. Chill.
Well, I don't know, but fortunately, we haven't had an attack on Iran yet.
No,
we
haven't.
They aren't having much luck against the Houthis. So good luck against the Iranians.
I just hope wiser heads prevail in the Pentagon and give the Donald, the right advice, because you don't want to go starting a World War III in the Middle East. It will be the undoing of us all.
Well, fundamentally, I don't think he wants to, but the people who control him in that Middle Eastern country we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
They're the ones that really want the war with Iran.
Yeah. Okay, Brett, mate. Show me it, mate. Show me it. Brett, mate, saying teleportation tech is reverse engineered from aliens. Yeah, I'm struggling. I'm. The more I've dug into the alien thing, the less and less I'm believing in it because there's just no evidence. But that's a completely different subject. Speaking of people that want war, Kaka here. Look at her giving a little speech. Look at all those stupid microphones on big long sticks shoved in her face.
It's because they don't want to be anywhere near her.
So last year, the EU and its member states supported Ukraine with 20 billion euros. This year, we are upping the ante to 23 billion. And I actually did reply to Kaka, and she's not come back to me. But I said, are you expecting a higher death rate for your increased investment? But she's not come back to me. Why not? I don't know.
At this point, it's literally just flushing money down the toilet and funding a meat grinder that is grabbing Ukrainian men off the streets and press ganging them into the army, chucking them onto the front lines with a week or two's worth of training, and they're being slaughtered at a rate of knots. And the thing that's so heinous about people like Kaka is that they just don't give a shit how many Ukrainians die.
No, they don't.
And it's obscene. It's like she's not on the front line. She wouldn't send her own kids on the front line. And she's from this pissant little Baltic country that it's like a pimple on Russia's butt that Russia could squeeze anytime it wanted to.
The Baltics.
And I think she's one of the most awful people in global politics. I mean, she's incompetent. She's belligerent, and I think she's, to be honest, like all of them, I think she's playing a role. She's worked out that she's got this nice cushy job at the EU. She's probably making a massive salary, and she gets to parade around in front of the world media, and they all have to take her seriously, even though everyone's kind of laughing at her behind her back.
Let me kind of wind things back a bit, because years ago, and I'm not putting a specific time on it, but years ago people used to say maybe women should be in charge, right? Because they're less warlike, they're more likely to talk and work things out in a peaceful manner rather than going to war. And yet, when we look at Europe right now, everyone that is clamoring for war is a woman. Baber Bock, or whatever her name is, Kaka here, Ursula herself, the other,
Ursula.
Yeah, I mean Sonia. Who's the other one? They're all clamoring for war. The only one that seems to be sensible and is allegedly a woman is Maloney, because she's saying, "No, in my troops you won't."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Maloney just strikes me as, I don't know, I think she got elected on this right-wing platform of putting Italian families first, and she was another one of those leaders who, as soon as she comes into power, she ends up going completely the other way.
Yeah.
But she does actually seem to care about her own country, whereas particularly, I mean, Ursula does not give a shit about Europe. She just wants power. Kaka is just a retard.
Speaking about liars, we've got Vladimir here again with his daily bleat. He just keeps putting out a daily bleat at the moment. Today I've discussed with the Minister of Defence our preparations for the upcoming Ramstein meeting. Well, this was the 9th. This was good, because this was on the 9th. So he was bleating about what we need. And then on the 10th, after the meeting, he bleated that Europe's not playing the game. They're saying that they're advancing in the planning stages, but we need this stuff now. And I'm like, you know what, mate? You put yourself in this situation. You really did. You and the US. So go and fix it yourselves. Because let's face it, let's be strictly blunt and truthful here. What's Ukraine ever given to Europe other than child pornography, women and child trafficking, biolabs, the most corrupt European country, money laundering, drug trafficking? I mean, what have they given other than the bad things? When did they give Europe anything decent?
Well, the thing is that Ukraine doesn't need money, it needs weapons.
Yeah.
And there aren't any weapons for it. The Americans are the only real source of weaponry. Europe's industry is a mess. Europe's economies are a mess. All of the billions that we're pumping into Ukraine is just making the whole situation worse. And he's just this grotty, spiteful, nasty little beggar king. I've got a meme of him where I've done him as a homeless street person with a sign that just says in Russian, "Give."
Yeah.
And he's just this, I don't know, beggar king or some description.
I did mention the biolabs, mate. So the thing that gets me is just Russia is currently, and this isn't from me, right? This is coming from the US general in command of the US troops in Europe, right? He says that Russia is currently producing ammunition 4 times faster than Europe and the US combined.
Well, it was 3 times faster a year ago.
Yeah, well, apparently it's 4 times faster.
So it's gone from 3 times faster to 4 times faster.
Yeah, exactly. So they're ramping up.
And in all of that
and
time,
what's Europe doing? Planning. Well, we're planning.
Well,
we're not going to war.
And in all that time, Europe has been talking about increasing ammunition production, but hasn't actually managed it. They come up with these harebrained schemes. They pump billions and billions into it. They're not interested in peace. They're not interested in any sanctions relief for Russia. And it's just Europe is the belligerent, and they're all completely hysterical that Russia's going to start invading the rest of Europe once it's finished in Ukraine, despite every single Russian official I've ever listened to saying, why the hell would we want to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's mental. Let's move on.
Right. Okay.
I'm sick of looking at this dickhead.
Well, speaking of liars and idiots, the Estonian Special Forces are gearing up, ready for the next trip. and how do you think this is going to work out? Latvia and Ukraine. Hold on, isn't Ukraine in a war? But anyway, Latvia and Ukraine to cooperate in space exploration. And you thought, what with? I mean, fucking hell, what with?
I know. It just can't make it up. The whole thing is so completely and totally mental, and they're just delusional. Mm-hmm. They're not even. It's like they're just spouting stuff, and the papers are just repeating it just to give them a distraction from the fact that Ukraine is getting its ass kicked.
Yeah. And then, speaking of liars and cheats, Ursula von der Leyen. That's the most fucking ironic statement I've ever heard in my entire life. Europe is open for trade and investment. I told blah blah blah. We negotiate, not escalate, to keep the US-EU supply chains smooth and strong. We're also stepping up as a competitive powerhouse, simplifying rules, deepening our single market, invest here, benefit here. We negotiate, not escalate. I have just released 800 billion to rearm Europe. Fuck off. Just go away, Ursula. That's just a nonsense, completely nonsense statement. And then the best one ever. Look at the one next to it. Russia could be behind migrant terror attacks, German investigators fear. So let's the guy that posted this has thankfully stepped us through it. Of course, Russia brings in unvetted Afghani refugees to Germany who run from prosecution by the Taliban for actual crimes. Then when the German court decides to deport them, Russia is not deporting them from Germany, and then they go on to commit crime. Yeah. Nuts. Absolutely nuts, mate. Nuts.
It's you just the number of, it's like I was saying last week, if they can't blame Putin, they'll blame Trump. If they can't blame Trump, they'll blame something else. And they never take any kind of responsibility for their own actions. It's all about narratives, and it's all about this ridiculous Russophobia.
Yeah. And
I'm not sure. The only reason that anyone's buying into it is you have organs like the Telegraph who just spout this nonsense as if it's fact without any kind of critical analysis, and quite often they're actually cheerleading it. Mm-hmm. And so people are just brainwashed, and they've got no actual idea of what's really going on, which is the point.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of liars and cheats, Downing Street has deleted the video it released in which it pretended that Labour's deputy leader of Wolverhampton City Council was just a normal employee who loves the Prime Minister. How did they think they were going to get away with that one? Do you remember when he was at the factory? And the guy...
I don't know how they think they can get away with anything that they do.
It's just nuts. And anyway...
It's just typical.
Freaking... Oh.
Absolutely typical.
Right, you tell me about this. I have no idea what this means.
Oh, this one, this is quite interesting because there was a big attack by Israel on a place called Tartus in Syria. And supposedly, according to this supposedly reputable source, the radiation levels that they're seeing, when people watch the videos, and the videos actually do look like very serious explosions.
Yeah.
And they're saying that the radiation levels measured in that area are way above what they should be, and
well, they will be in
100% and 50% respectively bigger than Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to say anything. This one just piqued my interest.
Depleted uranium ammunition.
Wouldn't have quite the same effect.
It does have quite,
because depleted uranium. The reason that they use DU is because it's super hard and you can penetrate.
But it
armor.
also does leave a radiation signature.
That's true.
So
I
don't know.
They might be trying to get bunkers or something. I don't know. It's just one to monitor.
I would have thought that Putin wouldn't have been shy in coming forward if they were using thermonuclear devices of any kind.
Well, you would think nobody would be shy coming forward when they're committing genocide, but they do that.
Okay, but when you think, right, I mean, the term gets bandied around a lot, right? But in the grand scheme, and you can shoot me down if you wish, but in the grand scheme of thing, 40,000 people isn't a lot. And that might sound horrible, right? But out of a population of 2.5 million, it's not a lot.
No, that's true. I mean, part of the reason that I wanted to include this one is to have your skeptical eye on it, because I wasn't sure quite what to make of it, because ultimately it's just some random person on Twitter that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know.
Both Hiroshima and Nagasaki were both airbursts, were they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the third one was going to be a ground burst, and they cancelled that one. So that's why people are still living can still live in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because you don't get that much radiation, because you don't get all the fallout. So a tactical nuke is different. It's a much smaller yield, but it's a dirtier weapon, So
yeah,
I'm kind of thinking the Russians would be all over this if they had.
Or the Chinese, or both.
Somebody would have been all over it, particularly the Russians, because this is their neck of the woods.
Yeah.
They've got people in Syria as well. I mean, the difference is they were invited by the last government to be in Syria when the Americans weren't. They just went in and stole the oil.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'd forgotten about the Russians being there. Yeah, I mean, if there was something like a nuke going off, the Russians would probably go batshit crazy about it.
Yeah, I think the guys maybe jumped.
Right, moving on.
Right. The arrival. Oh, here we go. The Yemen military. I love the Yemen military. The arrival of Yemen doesn't really have a military, does it? They just kind of float about in trucks and mobile missile launchers. Anyway, the arrival of the aircraft carrier Carl Vinson. That's easy for you guys to say. Pardon me. Alongside the USS Harry S. Truman. Pardon me. Indicates a failure of Truman in its mission. Well, it doesn't necessarily indicate anything, to be fair. And as it has been subjected to several strikes, we will welcome Carl Vinson with powerful and impactful strikes. I'm not sure you will, but I think the last time I looked, the Harry S. Truman was 1,300 kilometers away from Yemen, which is probably
they've had to move it.
Yeah, they moved it out. But the effective strike range of the Truman is around 1,800 kilometers, so they can still hit where they were intending to hit, whether it is that country that we were talking about earlier or not.
Yeah, but it does stretch the aircraft, because and also they end up having to burn more fuel, because they'll undoubtedly refuel at some point. And it's kind of an attritional war. It was how the Yemenis beat the Saudis.
Well, what are they going to refuel? They're nuclear powered. They need replenished with ammo and stuff. But
no, I meant aviation fuel.
Aye, right, yeah, okay.
For the aircraft.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Because obviously a nuclear powered aircraft carrier doesn't need to be refueled for about 50 years or something.
Like the tanker full of aviation fuel that was T-boned by the Russian cargo vessel in the North Sea. Wonder where that was going. Anyway.
Good question. I just think, to be honest, the thing about Yemen is they are hard as nails, man.
Oh yeah.
Seriously, they've got. I mean, they've got the world's superpower, and they're literally thumbing their noses at it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you have to. I don't know. You have to admire the tenacity.
You got to remember, these guys have been getting bombed by the US and Saudi Arabia for the last 10 years.
Longer. I think it was 2003 the US first started bombing Yemen.
Right. So they've been doing that for, 20 years now? And they're still there. They're still plugging away. Yeah. And in fact, they seem to be getting better and better because they're actually starting to hit things now.
Well, I mean, they've got increasingly sophisticated missiles and drones, which the media would say, oh, it's all coming from the Iranians. But from what I can tell, the Yemenis are actually building a lot of their own stuff as well now.
And the thing is, missile launches, right? Yeah, the Americans will detect a launch. They'll pinpoint it. They go, yeah, let's send a strike there. So by the time it goes through the chain of command, back from the Pentagon, fire it, what, 1-2 hours, you know? So when that missile lands,
how much money they're burning.
Yeah, but when that missile lands in Yemen, the thing that fired it's gone because it wasn't there when they fired the missile. It was away somewhere else because he just hit and run. And it's
but also the US
the way to do it.
Well, they don't have any. They don't have any assets on the ground. So
exactly.
the intelligence that they have for Yemen is terrible to start with. And the Yemenis did what the British did in World War II, where they just had loads of inflatable tanks and stuff like that, and they just dotted them around to make it look like it. You've seen it. There's loads of videos on YouTube of these inflatable like missile launchers and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's just, and the thing is that the Americans are burning. What you were saying earlier on about antimony from China, one of the reasons they need antimony is because they need to replenish their weapon stocks, which are being burned up in Ukraine and against Yemen, and they're shipping loads to Israel as well. Anyway, let's move on.
Well, what I was going to say is that the other thing about Iran and that neck of the woods is, while there aren't Americans with boots on the ground in Yemen, which is what you need if you want to control that kind of situation, but you've got to do it big style, because if you think about it, Vietnam and Korea both showed you that even having a lot of troops on the ground doesn't necessarily guarantee success against people who are fighting a guerrilla warfare in their own territory. Afghanistan,
Yemen is
another,
a mountainous.
Well, Yemen's another Afghanistan, isn't it? Really, you know. So they won't want.
Yemen is Afghanistan on steroids.
Yeah,
Yemen is Afghanistan on steroids.
So, but there's 50,000 US troops in the Gulf, right? And they're all spread about in different air bases and army bases, and you know, they're in embassies, and they're also in training facilities, and they're really vulnerable. They're vulnerable to
But there's
attack.
also oil facilities in the UAE and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I mean, the Yemenis attacked one of the big Aramco oil refineries years ago and set the whole thing ablaze. So there's a lot of assets of all descriptions in the Middle East that are within range of Yemeni missiles. And all they're doing is trying to stop. They're essentially, their whole argument is that until food supplies get into Gaza, we're not letting any ships through.
Yeah.
Which actually, when you look at international law and the Genocide Convention, is what a country is supposed to do. By not intervening when there's genocide, you're actually complicit in that genocide. And in that sense, the Yemenis are the only ones that are not complicit in that genocide.
Yeah. Right. We'll move away from the war now, and let's move to the Republican representative, Anna Paulina Luna, has expressed frustration for being stonewalled by the DOJ on Epstein files release. Why would you even think that the Epstein files are going to get released? They're never going to get released, are they?
Well, if we're talking about flight logs and lists of clients and stuff,
there's years ago. the flight
Well,
logs.
I mean, there's people like Johnny Vedmore that have done lots and lots of exposés on that stuff.
Yeah.
It's more about actually arresting people. I mean, we know roughly who they are, but it's about investigating them and arresting them. But it's just never going to happen.
Well, you need evidence for
This
that.
to me is just smokes and mirrors.
Yeah, it is. It's just a distraction, if you will. Anyway, moving on. Right, this isn't a distraction. This is incredible. Vanessa Brown, aged 50, a history teacher, was arrested and held for 7.5 hours by Surrey police for stealing 2 iPads. They were at her mother's house, who was also questioned. She had taken them from her 2 daughters so as they could concentrate on their homework. She took the 2 iPads, she went to her mum's for a coffee, and the police fucking arrested her. Because a 40-year-old man
and then
reported
the
it.
7.5 hours, they admit, well, yeah, and then they finally admitted that she had a right to discipline her children. I mean, what is it? Did one of the kids phone the police because the mother wouldn't give the iPad back?
A 40-year-old male phoned the police. So is that the child's estranged father?
Well, the 40-year-old male should have been arrested.
Well, yeah,
for wasting police time.
Yeah, but that is out of fucking. That's police overreach to the. I mean, hold on. As a cop, how do you turn up at this and say, "Yeah, I'm arresting you for stealing those iPads"? Oh, hold on, they're my daughter's iPads. My daughters belong to me. Never mind the iPads, right? So I can't steal something that belongs to me. You know, and depriving my daughter of the use of something that I actually own is none of your business. You know, I mean, how could this is wrongful arrest to the nth degree. This woman's got a solid case here.
If there's probably clever lawyers that are already contacting her saying, "Look, this is open and closed. I make money, you make money, everybody makes money apart from the police." But just it shows you where policing in the UK is at, that this is even being considered. I mean, don't these people have more important things to? I mean, do they just do this stuff because it's easier than tackling the difficult stuff? I mean,
possibly.
It's just mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing that the police even think that this is something that I mean, and okay, what? How come 7.5 hours? You shouldn't even be okay. So someone makes a malicious call, implying that someone has stolen something, and the police go around. As soon as the police realize what the situation is, they should say, "We're really sorry for wasting your time, ma'am.
Yeah,
we're going to be on our way now." Yeah, and then they just go over to whoever it was that made the call and arrest them for wasting police time. That's how it should have really gone down.
That's exactly how it should have gone down, Ed. But speaking of that, apparently the police are making more than 30 arrests a day over offensive posts on social media and other platforms.
Just
thousands of people are being detained and questioned for sending messages that cause annoyance or inconvenience or anxiety. I fucking cause annoyance, inconvenience, and anxiety on a daily basis. You know, to myself, never mind anyone else.
And anxiety and frustration on an almost hourly basis. Where's my recompense? Who do I need to see to get the Prime Minister arrested?
Maybe we should just phone the Met and say, "Look, this cunt's annoying me. He keeps posting stuff." In fact, you know who's really fucking annoying me? The Home Office. Their posts are so banal and arrogant and talking down to you that they really, really do cause me offence. I think I'm going to phone the Met tomorrow and report the Home Office. Fucking arseholes, they're out of control. That's what I think. Anyway, and obviously one of the victims of
Lucy.
One of the victims is Lucy Connolly. What can you say?
Yeah, and I mean, what she did wasn't right, and I'm not condoning it. But at the same time,
that wrong though?
When we have people, actually, no, I don't know why I'm even saying that, because what she did was, I mean, she should have a right to freedom of speech.
Exactly.
But more especially when people get bail for much worse crimes. And I saw a tweet before we came on saying that one of the reasons that, because Lucy's actually entitled to be like daytime release, or she's actually allowed to get out, but they're not letting her out because they're essentially being spiteful because she talked to Alison Pearson. And it's because of Alison that there's been a renewed spotlight on Lucy. But it's, I mean, as I posted on Twitter earlier, we're English. This is not how we behave. This is not, I mean, this is the country that birthed George fucking Orwell. It's not just wrong. It's antithetical to everything that the people on these islands believe in and stand for. It's ridiculous.
The soldier says, I'm even offensive to my watchers, my audience. Yeah, okay, I am, but I like to think I challenge you, you know? Yeah, you know what, mate? I know you say that we're English, this isn't how things are done, but
I know you're Scottish.
yeah, no, I'm not splitting hairs about that. But what I'm thinking is, are we really anymore? Is Britain really Britain anymore? Do we stand for the same values that we stood for?
No, not
even 20 years ago, you know?
When we have 30 people being arrested per day for social media posts and we have Lucy Connolly still in prison, no, we're fucking not.
No, you're right. We're not.
Simple.
Simples. Right.
And it's disgusting.
It is disgusting. And, you know, just because we move on doesn't mean that we don't.
No,
feel
we need to move on. I'm just going to stop properly ranting and I'll probably get arrested by the end of the night.
RFK Jr. Oh, we'd love to see that on a stream. A swatting on stream would be fantastic. If anybody knows Ed's address, give them that. Anyway, RFK, no, don't. Johnny and John, don't do that. Don't do that. What? Anyway, RFK Jr., we will discover the cause of...
John good ideas, bad ideas.
We will discover the cause of autism epidemic by September. When he says autism epidemic, does he mean the ramp up in the cases of autism over the last, 2-3 decades? Maybe even longer, pardon me.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because this is the kind of thing that will get the channel nailed.
We're not talking about jabby jabbies or anything like that.
Oh,
right?
that.
No, but
well,
I don't understand how.
So far, RFK has been a massive disappointment. So I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, he has.
Well, so far, RFK Jr. has been a massive disappointment. So I'm not holding my breath.
So this helicopter crashed today in the Hudson, a sightseeing helicopter in New York City. Very similar to the one I was on when I was in New York City in 2008, something. Anyway, this helicopter crashed.
This one's a bit rabbit holey.
Yeah, well, no, it's not. It's not. So this one crashed today, and the helicopter... All 6 people in the helicopter died, of which these were 4 of the tourists that were on the trip, which is a shame, a tragedy, right? And it looks like the rotor blade came off. Okay, I saw the video.
The rotor and the tail.
Yeah, so it looks like because the rotor probably hit the tail as soon as it came off, and chopped it. Helicopters aren't terribly strong. Right, I've seen helicopters. I've been in helicopters. I've seen the one that landed in the Clutha Vaults, and I've seen the one that hit the block of flats in Eastwood Toll and slid down the building, leaving no damage to the building, yet killing the police sergeant in the front left-hand seat. Helicopters aren't strong because they're light. The rotor blade came off. The question is this just simple lack of maintenance? Possibly, because these things are in the air, 12 hours a day.
Well, there was a helicopter crash in Norway because Polly, amazing Polly on Twitter, @Fringe Views, has done a few posts about it, and she spotted a story out of Norway where a similar thing happened, and it turned out to be a worn-out rotor gearbox.
That's the thing that used to bring down Chinooks as well. I think that's what
But
brought
the
down...
guy...
Sorry?
The thing is that the guy, the head of the family, the father was a CEO of Siemens. He was a fairly important person.
But you know what? It could be anyone, you know. I'm doubting. Right, you're going to take somebody out, okay? If you want to take them out, one, do you need to take out their entire family, right? I mean, because they're taking out the 2 kids and the mother, 3 kids and the mother, right? So do
you remember our Titanic rabbit hole, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But the Titanic's a different ball game, right? I mean, that was a different world then. But really, a helicopter, you know, I mean, a car crash could be arranged when he's driving solo one day, you know.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean,
that's true.
I think people are too quick to jump to, you know, they're too quick to jump to the conspiracy these days, because not everything's a conspiracy, people. And just because the guy has a job with Siemens, you know, there's hundreds of people who have high-flying jobs with Siemens. It's a big company, you know. I mean, it could have been a guy from Microsoft that was in there the hour before. You know, was that a guy from Aramco that was there? You know, yesterday, that kind of thing. It could have been anyone. You know, I think
Occam's razor suggests that it's an accident. But you know what I'm like, and I always approach things from a rabbit hole perspective.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, from my perspective, with if something piques my interest, some things are obviously just normal events. Others, they try and make it look like a normal event, but it isn't always. And so, in some cases, I'm assuming there's some kind of rabbit hole there until I'm proved conclusively otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Moving on. I wasn't sure where to put this in the regular news or in the funnies. Republican Hank Johnson suggests President Trump and the MAGA movement want Black Americans back to picking cotton. That's a rather inflammatory statement, isn't it? I don't know where he gets that from, really.
This is an extreme example of this condition that has existed in the 21st century called Trump derangement syndrome.
Yes, yeah.
And this guy has got it bad. I think this one's got a mixture of Trump derangement syndrome and Elon derangement syndrome. And it's
got a touch of what's his name?
It's hysterical. I mean,
Like,
some of the nonsense that is coming out of democratic America.
Yeah.
It's just mind-blowing. They're up in arms about the fact that Musk is trying to save the federal... Oh, bless him.
Nick Doritos, thank you, my man. He's dropped us a new donation. You are so sweet. Thank you. So that's 2 donations already. Come on, make it 3, baby. Make it 3. Right. So, do you think this guy looks in the mirror in the morning and goes, "Oh my God, I've done the white"?
I don't know. I can't understand these people.
Chin. Look under his chin.
Yeah.
Right.
People, I mean, it's...
So, the grooming gang inquiries that were supposed to being held locally because a national one wasn't required, right? We were supposed to be doing local ones, have been dropped. And they've not been dropped that quietly now because everybody knows about it. So, this chap, Sir Trevor Phillips...
Well, apart from Rupert Lowe raising loads of money to do a private one.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. They've not been dropped. They've not been dropped quietly at all, have they? Utterly shameful. So Trevor Phillips slams Labour for quietly dropping grooming gang inquiries. The former head of the Equality and Human Rights Commission says it's so obviously political. Labour won't act because the abusers are largely Pakistani Muslim and Labour supporters in large numbers.
Well, they're dependent
That's
on the
what's-
block vote. I mean, if you look at people like Jess Phillips,
Yeah, well, that's her. That's her.
it is
electorate.
blatantly political,
Yeah,
absolutely political, which just makes it even more disgusting. Because if we're talking about children being sexually abused,
Yep. Mhm.
and that there is no scale on my moral kind of continuum. Well, yeah, there is no point on the moral compass where raping children is acceptable. It's just and
Indeed.
if there are cultures in the world that think it is acceptable, then let the people from those cultures exist in those countries, and any children that want to escape will find a nice home for them, kind of thing. It's just wrong.
That is wrong. That is wrong.
And I agree with Trevor Phillips. I mean, I don't really agree with him about very much of anything these days. But on this, he's absolutely spot on. And the more it gets highlighted by people like him that have got a big audience, the better. And the government is just beyond disgusting.
Speaking of liars and cheats, here we have Sir Keir Starmer. A new Universal theme park is coming to the UK. We've closed the deal. No, hold on a minute, Keith. Who closed this deal? This deal was, what, 10 years in the making? Which has been completely under a Tory government.
Yeah.
It was a Tory project. You didn't close the deal. You signed the paperwork at the end of the deal. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. Starmer had nothing to do with it. It's outrageous.
It's also his tweet about was it this one? No, it wasn't this one, but in one of his, what's the right word, vacuous bits of bollocks that he posts on X. He said something about bringing joy back to Britain. It's like you're sucking it out of the country every single freaking hour of every single day. And when people look at the prices for this theme park, it's probably one of the reasons it's in Bedford is because they've got Luton Airport. So you're going to get rich foreigners that jet in just to go to this theme park. And it's so expensive that the closest most locals will get is selling the bloody popcorn.
Yeah, they'll be working in it. They'll be the serfs. Right? Top of the morning to you.
I mean, it's, and I guess Ben's probably looking forward to it.
Yeah, he will be. But anyway, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Here we go.
Some of the memes that were made of this one were quite fun.
Well, I think some of the people went a bit OTT because, they're going, how does it take 5 years to 6 years to build a theme park? Well, it takes that long because have you seen the detail that goes into building a Universal theme park? They are incredibly detailed. And, if that's your thing, then it's a great experience. I love the Universal theme parks in Florida. Absolutely love them. I'd love to be able to go to them. I just can't. I don't have enough money anymore. But, I mean, we've been to them before, and they are absolutely brilliant. It's a fantastic holiday. But, and this will be just as good, I would imagine, to a degree, because Universal have got theme parks in not Germany, they've got theme parks all over the world. They've got them in Japan and China and certainly Florida and what's it called? LA. I actually went on the LA studio tour way back in 1988. That's how old I am. And it wasn't a theme park, really. It was just a studio tour.
I've never been an enormous fan of them, but the thing is that each to their own. I've got no. I mean, it's great that they're going to build a theme park because it'll bring jobs to the area and all this other stuff. Yeah. But it's the disingenuous nature of the dear leader that just
he's stealing the
gets
glory.
on my tits.
Yeah, I know, stealing the glory
because he doesn't recognise the work that anyone else in previous governments done, because the previous government's responsible for all the problems and the £22 billion black hole and all of that nonsense.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a dickhead. He really is.
Yes. Moving on.
I just
this guy has now got his family have upped the ante to 450,000 as the goal instead of 100,000 because he reached 100,000 very easily. This is their defence fund for this guy who terminated another kid's life by plunging a knife into him at a track meet, you know. But it wasn't his fault, you know. He didn't go equipped with it, and he didn't. Well, he did, and he didn't do it, but he did, and so they're going to try and defend him. On what grounds, I don't know, but they have raised, believe it or not, $337,000.
And it's just crazy. It's just another example of just how bonkers the bloody world is.
Uh-huh. Right. UK are creating a murder prediction tool to identify people most likely to kill.
Fuck.
Where does the queue start?
I don't even know. This is the thing when the government is doing things that just drive people to states of blistering rage, and they're having to manage their anger in all sorts of safe and creative ways.
Look at what it says. Algorithms allegedly being used to study data of thousands of people in project. Critics say it is chilling and dystopian. You're telling me?
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Orwell's turning in his grave. This is straight out of 1984, probably Brave New World. Definitely a whole bunch of dystopian sci-fi movies. And the algorithms, it's like the facial recognition gets plenty of things wrong. These algorithms, they're not... Anyone who's prepared to put important stuff like this, like have computers oversee it, doesn't know shit about computers, frankly.
I know.
Because they make mistakes. And if you put so much trust in them and say, this thing is infallible, they're not infallible.
Right, moving on. So I'm just going to read this one out. So Tom Nelson, who's a bit of a climate scientist himself, has said there's a fun new quote from Phil Jones, who is a climate scientist. Just because someone has named the medieval warm period doesn't mean it really existed. Hold on a minute there, Phil. So what about all the records? You know, all the records from tree rings and ice samples and all that. What about all those records? Do they not exist either? That's just a nonsense statement from what should be a reputable scientist. That shows you the state of climate science.
If you paid any attention to ClimateGate, you will know that the last thing that Phil Jones is, in my opinion, is a reputable scientist.
I was giving him the benefit.
He's in the same category as Michael Mann.
Yeah.
With these climate scientists or climate high priests of the climate cult, more like, they lost me at ClimateGate. When you look at some of the stuff that Phil Jones said in his emails, some of the things that Michael Mann said, the blatant,
I know,
dishonesty and everything else. It's just
indeed. Right, moving on. Angry New York City residents have started throwing trash and it says feces. It's spelled incorrectly in my view, but and feces on pro-Hamas protesters. They were throwing bin bags off their balconies, which is going to make an awful mess and could injure someone. I can't endorse that kind of behaviour at all. But they've obviously the New Yorkians had enough and decided to start speaking out in the way that they know best, by action. So moving on.
No. Yeah, that just it demonstrates one
Yeah.
of the things that's wrong with the world.
There's a tweet from a guy called Ed.
Yes.
I saw this. The Ukrainian
This one,
13-year-old was third. Was he third? The guy who
Yeah,
won
no, he was beaten by the Russian kid.
the Russian kid was competing under a neutral flag. Therefore, maybe he stays in a different country or whatever. But the Ukrainian kid just stormed off without allowing a photograph or shaking his hand or anything. Well, there you go.
My tweet pretty much sums up my opinion of that one, and I think that when countries like Israel are allowed to compete despite what's going on over there, to not allow Russians to compete, and also sports and politics should be separate.
But they unfortunately aren't.
And also it's emblematic of the Ukrainian attitude. If that's how the kids' parents have raised him, then they're essentially just creating another generation of Azov Brigade.
Oh yeah, they are. So this is one of yours. The James Webb Telescope has discovered Jupiter-sized planets in space, free-floating and gravitationally unbound to any star. What has astonished scientists is that the planets are moving in pairs. Astronomers are now trying to explain this phenomenon scientifically. They're inclined to believe that the objects were thrown out of their orbits due to gravitational disturbances. Do you have any thoughts on the matter?
I just thought it was a fascinating story. I mean, one of the Nibiru, the whole stitching thing, he reckoned that Nibiru was extrasolar planet caught by Earth's gravity.
Caught by the sun's gravity.
Yeah, but just to have pairs of planets kind of floating around is just pretty cool.
Yeah. That's cool. Right, moving on. I saw this one.
Excuse me.
A group of 150 South End United fans hired a party boat to take them down the Thames to their match away to Sutton on Saturday. And they soon noticed that an American tourist called Evan was sitting quietly by himself. So they asked him if he was okay. It turned out they had got on the boat by accident and thought he was doing a sightseeing tour of London. They instantly adopted him as a new shrimper, got the beers in, and even gave him a ticket to the match that ended 1-1. If you keep hearing the chant, Evan is a shrimper on the radio, now you know why. Dear, oh dear. The poor guy he's probably still in a state of shock. Yeah.
He's probably still recovering from the biggest hangover.
Yeah.
I just thought
the
thing is that that's the spirit of the country.
Yeah, that's the kind of spirit you want.
We have this government that's intent on being a bunch of warmongering, belligerent assholes and arrogant, and you have just moralizing people. But when stories like that come out, it's just nice because it shows a different side of the British.
So, BitChute, we had this discussion the other night. I think Vaughn was party to it. BitChute has ceased allowing British people to view it because it can't comply with the onerous restrictions that the government puts upon it for checking social media, which is ridiculous, really, that a company has to go to that extremes to allow people to watch it. If a country believed in its citizens and the citizens were able to make up their own mind as to what they wanted to watch or not, surely the country shouldn't be doing anything to stop freedom of speech. But then again, if that said country doesn't have a written constitution, how does one argue against it?
Well, this BitChute one, I mean, just for the record, for all the people out there who may be listening, It works fine through a VPN. So get yourself a decent VPN.
Not that we-
NordVPN, last time I checked, they had a nice
Not that
deal
we
on.
would, not
Not
that
that
we would
we're-
endorse or condone circumventing the British government's restrictions in any way whatsoever. Oh, sorry, Ed's nearly choked to death again. Right, where are we?
Sorry, I've still got a bit of a cough.
Translators react. This is a cracker. Translators' reaction when Trump said the US and Italy have been allies since ancient Rome 4,000 years ago. Oh dear, oh dear. I think he got that one a little
That
bit.
one's so funny.
Yeah, and her reaction is genuine. Look at that. She's going, what the fuck? Oh, good grief. Scientists have discovered 7,000-year-old mummies in the desert. They don't share DNA with modern humans. Ancient people lived in the Sahara when it was much more welcoming environment. Now, I don't know the full article, Ed. This is one of yours. There are people already living in Africa that have DNA that we don't share with other people in the world. You know, sub-Saharan Africans are between 2 and 20% of archaic DNA that is not evident at all and never has been in Caucasians or Asians. So that kind of debunks the
Yeah,
walk
it
to
was
Africa
just another
theory.
interesting one that I spotted.
Yeah, it doesn't, Brittany, it doesn't mean that
I mean,
they're actually aliens, mate. It doesn't mean they're aliens. It just means that there are people there that have got DNA that didn't make it into the modern human genome. That's all it means. That's all it means.
Which is fascinating in itself. And I mean, there's plenty of bottlenecks in human evolution where the genome is drastically reduced.
Yeah. So we're on to the funnies,
just,
thank God.
Hallelujah.
we're on to the funnies, people. Right. Dean Cain is a freaking legend. I think neither of you are girls. He's talking about Dylan Mulvaney and that other. What's that other guy's name? I keep forgetting it. But anyway,
I don't know. They're both just creepy and weird, and I don't like them.
So someone replies saying, "And you were never Superman either." And Dean, to give him his due, goes, "Correct. I pretended."
There is a fun story about another different Superman. What's his name? Cavill, Henry Cavill.
Oh, Cavill, right?
No,
Reeves?
Henry Cavill, and his nephew. Yeah, no, he had this little nephew who was getting bullied at the school because he would say to the other kids that his uncle's Superman. And then there's this great picture of Cavill taking this kid into school. So,
and the full
I
kit.
That one.
Was he wearing the full kit? Was he wearing the Superman kit?
No. He just looked like a normal person. He was in Clark Kent mode, but without the glasses.
He should have wore the full kit. Anyway.
And Dean Cain, he was a bit of a cheesy Superman.
Oh, yeah, but it was funny.
He wasn't bad, but...
He was all right.
Christopher Reeve is Superman.
Oh, yeah, Christopher Reeve is Superman. Let us not forget that this once passed as an alien, and I'm not talking about Sulu. Or George Takei, as you should say. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I remember that episode. That is ridiculous, isn't it? And it did that passed.
But some of the things that they managed to make pass for aliens, and some of the god awful sets that they managed to pass off as. I mean, Tribbles were fantastic.
Oh, Tribbles were brilliant.
Tribbles. I mean, one of the best Deep Space Nine episodes was actually. I can't remember what it's called, but it's one of the cleverest Star Trek episodes that they ever made.
Yeah, they kind of go back in time,
blended.
don't they?
Yeah, they did the crew of Deep Space Nine, like Worf and O'Brien and people like that. they had to go back in time, and they managed to blend the episodes together. They used scenes from
it was good though.
Trouble with Tribbles.
It was done well.
It was fantastically done.
It was done well. No, Brett, mate, I don't think he's in blackface. I think he's just in shadow. He says he's Shatner in blackface. Right, moving on. African migrants are now using bombs to rob vending machines. Yes, and well, I don't know if they were migrants or not. They were dark-skinned people, right? And they put something in the vending machine, and then they ran away from the vending machine. The thing exploded into bits, and then they ran to the vending machine and gathered their loot. It's like Fortnite brought to life. It really is.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of. Oh, what's that other one? No, there's a different computer game that I'm thinking of, but the name has completely escaped me.
Okay, so
I hate being on camera sometimes.
Here's one from Space
No, my brain.
Weatherman. Oh, you still conjugating? Are you cogitating? Are you cogitating?
No, yes, I am. I'm trying. This is irritating me now. What is the name of that computer game that is like super violent and there's loads of drug dealers and stuff?
Oh, Grand Theft Auto.
That's the one.
Yeah,
this is more like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, well, possibly. Yeah, here's one from Sun Weatherman, right? Or yeah, you people looking up at the sky at UFOs, tilt your head down a bit more. Alien, nobody will notice me among this group of people. And to be fair, not the worst strategy I've ever heard. I knew a guy once who had a head, right, like a melon. It was so big that we used to say it had its own weather system. In fact, I was interviewing him for a job once, and I had been told that this guy was going to come in with a massive head. And I said, like, yeah, you're just winding me up. And he's going, no, the guy who was interviewing him with me goes, no, I know him. He's got a massive head. It really is ginormous. He says it's so big, it has its own weather system. And this guy came in with a massive freaking head, right? And he's sitting there, and we're interviewing him, and I asked him a question, and he started sweating. And I swear I could see a cloud forming above the rivulet of sweat that was running down his cranium.
Yeah, you can't really say much without getting into lots of trouble.
No, you can't.
Obviously, you can recount an anecdote.
Yeah.
But what the fuck?
Now, remember, people, if you're going to vote in the local council elections, do not deface your ballot paper. Because the last time, the thing that you drew in your ballot paper got in. I think that's fairly accurate.
Yeah, that's yes. Yeah, or don't make sure you don't write CUNT on it as well, because that happened too.
Oh yeah, you got one of them too. Yeah,
that's basically it. That all of those votes, that at any time that one of these vote counters saw CUNT written on it, oh, it's like they're voting for him. Oh, right. Jesus!
Everybody's face when asked if they've watched Abduction yet. Not Abduction. What's it called? Adolescence. Sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of mental abduction. Have you watched Adolescence, John?
No, I haven't watched Adolescence. Have you watched Adolescence?
Such a right-wing extremist. You're literally practically a Nazi, you know that.
I reckon that. You remember the scene from Clockwork Orange where they made Alex watch the indoctrination video by pinning his eyes open? Do you remember that? I reckon that the government would do that if they could.
Oh,
I think they'd make it mandatory viewing. Viewing, and then they'd create a law based on it.
And it's all fiction.
And it's a fiction.
Not just that, but it's unhelpful fiction, because it's casting the series is essentially demonizing the wrong people.
Yeah.
And to my mind, there's nothing. There are a few things worse that a government could do. I mean, the governments in history that have demonized certain sections of their population have not been good governments. They all go wrong.
Moving on.
And it's...
The 1980s was a glorious time for hair. Do you remember when
Yeah.
girls used to look like that?
Oh yeah. No, but what's worse
So did the guys.
is that I remember actually thinking it looked cool.
I know.
It's one. This is.
But
this
so
is the
did
thing,
the guys. I had
Yeah.
shoulder length hair in the 70s. It was like to hear.
Yeah, and the bell bottoms. I mean, in the
Oh,
80s
yeah,
when I was at
flails.
school,
Yeah, I mean,
everyone was into heavy metal, and
Yeah,
so you
I
had
would-
to have long hair.
I would
and-
not buy
yeah.
a pair of jeans unless they had at least 21-inch flares on them. I wouldn't go below 21 inches.
I just the thought of you in flares is fucking hilarious.
But
have
I
to
wasn't
say.
fat. I was skinny.
The thought of skinny you in flares is even more hilarious.
Right. So the next time I sell an Xbox on eBay, remind me to take the game out it before I sell it.
Oh dear. Oh, hilarious.
And our last slide of the evening. I'm calling out this, and it's a public service announcement for Anton here. He lives in constant fear that Trump will deport his Latino mother-in-law, who lives at 1837 3rd Street, LA, 923, the Blue House. She gets off work at 6. And I've got to give it to Anton. He's been very respectful and caring for his mother-in-law, hoping that she doesn't get deported. Again, she lives at 1837 3rd Street, LA, 923, Blue House. Gets off work at 6. There you go. Hello, Ice.
It would be interesting.
Wouldn't
It would be interesting to follow up on that one and see if
Oh, wrong.
maybe he's posted a tweet celebrating the fact that his mother-in-law
Yeah,
has
check in on Anton. Yeah.
been deported, or maybe there's been nothing heard from him since. Or maybe he doesn't have a mother-in-law and he just thought it was a fun tweet to post, which it is. Some people do just nail it. This is the thing about X that I don't see on any other social network, is some people just nail it. And they always seem to be on X. And they'll post something like that, and that will get shared on every single other social network multiple times. But you don't see that sort of thing on those other social networks.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell.
What a
right,
week.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I think we've covered it all.
We've not covered it all, mate. There's so much happening.
Well, no, but the thing is that there's plenty of stuff that a lot of people know about and hear about. And when I'm doing my bookmarks,
Yeah.
there are certain things that I'll pick just because we it's all in, so we have to talk about them because that's what's been going on. But I also do try and find things that are not completely in massively wide circulation, but either interesting or funny or stupid or crazy
Yeah.
and there's no shortage of material.
So we spoke last week about the Russell Brand case, and how I was concerned that people can generate false memories, especially after a considerable amount of time. And I read an article by some woman who had written something about repressed memories and then remembering about bad things that happened to them, 20, 30 years later. And I thought that's again that went against what I was saying, because I was saying that there should be a time limit on these things. And I thought, I'm going to do some digging into this. And I did some more digging, and apparently her article's complete and utter nonsense, according to science. According to the science around this subject, it's complete and utter nonsense. And according to psychiatrists and things, whereas my thoughts are very much in the ascendancy that you don't really repress memories that happen to you, and you certainly don't get them back like overnight if you did. What what tends to happen is you actually generate false memories more often, especially when prompted by helpful therapists, or using things like regression therapy and stuff like that. And that leads me back into the the cult of UFO stuff, where you've got to really question things. These abduction cases where people are coming up with things that they think they were abducted when it may well genuinely have been, that syndrome where you can't move, the waking paralysis syndrome where you're awake but can't move, which can play loads of tricks on you, and then you generate memories from that, and they seem real to you, but they aren't necessarily. So I've done a lot of digging into that, and I've prepared, I would say, a fairly substantial script. So I'll be recording that over the weekend, I think. It's more on the serious side of things. It's not so funny, but it was quite interesting to me, and I felt the need to dig into it. So, and it refutes that woman's article quite comprehensively, I think. Quite comprehensively. And it kind of ties into the...
You're not going to make yourself any friends in the UFO community.
Oh, no, I won't make friends in the UFO community because, my go-to response to UFO photos at the moment is Mylar balloon, because that's what they all fucking look like, Almost every one of them that they post looks like a Mylar balloon. And when you realise that there are over 10 million Mylar balloons released accidentally all over the world every year, then chances are it was a Mylar balloon. So yes, that's kind of what I was doing today. I was digging into that. That was quite interesting, and I was making my Minecraft review, which I published earlier, and it's quite humorous. It's only 6 minutes. It's worth a watch, in my view.
Yeah, no, I'll give. I was meaning to give that a watch. I'm planning on doing it tomorrow.
What else has happened in the world?
There's
having a quick dig through.
I don't know. Let's just have a quick look and see if the world has ended while we've been on air.
No, it's still going.
Because what about that trend on X of people doing AI-generated action figures? Some of them are actually really funny. Someone's just done a Philip Schofield one, and the 3 toys are a schoolbook, a little kid, and a packet of Haribo. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's... Oh, here we go. British propaganda. Humiliation for Vladimir Putin as desperate Russian soldiers advance in golf carts. This is from the Express. My God, we literally can't even just know. I think that's enough world for one night.
Yeah, I think it is. I've enjoyed that. It was good.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've not quite been full strength, but I hope people have not been too irritating.
Indeed. Why would someone like Bond be pinging me during the show? Oh, he has given me an action figure of he, them. I don't know if you can see that. He, them. That's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, some of them are, yes. But I mean, to be honest, the AI picture generation is actually a lot of fun. I've been doing different versions of seagulls. I did some anime seagulls today that were
I know. I saw them. They were quite scary.
Yeah, that was the 2 together.
Yeah,
but I did one of Stephanie as a Pikachu, and it was just really cute. Much cuter than she has any right to be.
Oh, right, and bringing the evening to a close, I think. What was I going to say? Remember, if you want to be involved in the film review, and it's open to all at the moment, so ping me if you want. you must have watched The Deer Hunter by 9 o'clock on Tuesday and be prepared to join in and talk about it. So if you want to be there, have watched The Deer Hunter by Tuesday at 9 o'clock. And send me a message and we'll get you on. There you go. Right. Oh, right. Good.
Been fun.
Good night, everyone. As always, it's been great for you, Ed, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. And I hope everything's been good with you people out there, because we are just here to serve. Badly, but we serve. And it's been great for you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know